Hello everyone, welcome back to the Voicecast, where we take your favorite shows and characters and look at the past and present to see which one is the best, the worst, and the weirdest. But this time, we'll be doing a special episode. We'll be doing a dub comparison, like we did with our One Piece. This time, we'll be talking about a classic favorite of ours, Shaman King.
I'm your host, Justin, and with me always is Will.
Hello everyone. Now Justin, tell us about Shaman King.
Shaman King is a manga from the late 90s, early 2000s about the existence of shamans. They can see ghosts can possess them in order to fight alongside them, and there's an overall tournament to become what is known as the Shaman King, where the all-godly ghost possesses you and you become essentially a god. The series follows Asakura on his quest to become the Shaman King. This was a show from just my childhood, like in my high school, with me just starting to get into anime and manga, there was a huge manga section, and one of them that they did have was all of Shaman King, and I just consumed all of it rapidly. It's a very entertaining read.
I unfortunately did not have such leisures, as the most of my manga library in my school was non-existent, and in my middle school, the only thing they really had was D and Angel, Death Note, and Chobits. So
okay.
they didn't really have a lot that I was looking for. But I followed the show pretty religiously, especially because I've always had a fascination with the supernatural, and their depiction of shamans is relatively accurate to the way shamanistic ways do. And they even bonus points to the series for even showing different types of shamanism. Like with one character we're going to bring up who uses an alternative form of spiritmancy.
So the mission statement today is we are comparing the dubs of the two series. One is the 2001 version produced by 4Kids.
Oh no, you said the unholy word.
Oh no. And the 2021 version produced by Netflix. And
oh no, you said the other unholy word.
Let me preference this so we don't get downvoted to shit like we did in our One Piece video. At the end of the day, these are our opinions. Personally, I like the 2001 anime more, but neither of these versions are the definitive way to watch or experience Shaman King. The 2001 version changed a lot of minor details from the manga, some that work, some that don't, as well as an abrupt ending that's made up completely on the spot just to get the series over with. What's more, watching it in English has many what I think are extremely baffling 4Kids isms that I found really distracting, even for 4Kids. Whereas the 2021 version does follow close to the manga technically, but I think looks worse and is paced pretty badly. Read the manga. We're talking about the English version of these shows for an easier watching experience for you, or listening since this is a podcast.
Also for us, because it's what we've been exposed to, rather than what everyone's going to tell us. The definitive version of show. Yeah, that's the thing. Why would you compare the real deal to a knockoff? We're comparing the equivalent of two knockoffs.
Right, this is just fun.
Plus, I have less nostalgia for usually the Japanese versions of things. Most of the stuff that we cover on the show, I exclusively know the English version, and I don't hear the Japanese version until we do these episodes. And even then, I'm like, see, I can't relate to this because I don't have an imprint or a feeling on the characters in question.
I will say, I love 4Kids, I still do, sometimes unironically. This dub is so fucking confusing.
It's all over the place. Like, really all over the place. It's got some amazing fucking talent, and then just, what the fuck is it? It's out of nowhere.
You might be wondering why 4Kids would produce a show like Shaman King when they're very anti-death, when the whole point of the show is about characters who are literally dead and have been dead for a long time. Well, they still do it. They don't say death, but it's very apparent that they are still talking about death.
It's like the Shadow Realm, when they talk about it in Yu-Gi-Oh! And they just keep using Shadow Realm even outside of 4Kids dubbing. In a way, it is what they're talking about, but they're just avoiding it.
Right.
And an example we'll actually tell later. But the thing with 4Kids is this was also during the times where 4Kids was trying to produce more serious stuff so people would take it seriously as an outlet. And Shaman King, while has its goofy moments and obscenely goofy characters, it's a more serious, down-to-earth, no pun intended, show, with a lot more action and higher stakes than, say, TMNT or Fighting Foodons.
I heard a rumor that Shaman King might have caused 4Kids to split in two directions, one of them being completely squeaky clean with the One Piece dub,
like Tokyo Mew Mew and Winx Club,
and a little bit darker with, say, the 2003 version of the Ninja Turtles, which is a damn good series. But this one here, it's so strange because it feels like that it wants to be faithful and uncensored, but at the same time, there's some random baffling shit in there too. Like Horror, for example. When I first started doing research before starting watching the dub, I saw that his name was Trey Racer, and I figured, oh fuck, this is another shitty ass name change. But when you start watching it...
Oh, I guess I should introduce myself. I'm Haro, but everyone calls me Trey Racer because I'm a big-time boardhead.
So I'm kind of taken aback. I'm just like, oh, they're addressing it? That's strange. But meanwhile, you have characters like Manta being called Morty, or Chocolate being named Jocko, without that kind of addressing at all. And there's a lot of other strange stuff that I will be bringing up soon as well. That being said, I don't like the remake that much either. It only shows you the highlights.
You might as well just call it Shaman King Kai.
That's really the case.
Samurai Soul!
There is a lot of time in the original version that's spent with Anna pushing Yo to train, which you never see in the remake. So something like Yo getting stronger doesn't feel as satisfying. It kind of blows my mind, because it feels like the director is so set on finishing the series that he forgets to add any nuance to make it good. Because while the show is half as long as the original, it feels twice as long to go through. It feels like a slog to me. And I don't think I'm the only one who feels that way. Because if you look on my anime list, its score is currently at around 6.69. An anime that's under a 7, for such a hype show like Shaman King, that is rare.
And disappointing.
Uh-huh.
Not to mention, it's a tournament arc show, which means that a lot of the fun comes from the training arc, the training episodes, where they're developing as a team, developing their powers, aka a little longevity is nice. But skipping straight to what you're doing is just... I can't follow this action. And because there's no breaks in between the story and the action, it feels like oversaturation, giving that effect of it's twice as long for half as long.
Right.
It's just, using a food allegory, instead of giving it out course by course by course, they just put a big fucking steak in front of you and say eat. And then once you're done, they put a big fucking roast duck in front of you and say eat.
Yeah, exactly. It's all meat, it's all protein, but there's no carbs or vegetables in order to balance it out.
It's not even a drink. It's just food.
If you eat too much meat, you get clogged and things start going real slow. That being said, I'm actually kind of impressed, in a way, because of the voice cast, because they got quite a few 4Kids voice actors to reprise their roles. And I'm just so happy about this, because... first of all, it gives 4Kids some credibility, finally. Like, people are like, 4Kids doesn't have any good voice actors. Well, Netflix, who didn't think that the original Evangelion dub was good enough, got these guys back for it. That's gotta say something.
Also, to point this out, a lot of the 4Kids voice actors that everyone hates, they're either non-existent, or they're titans in the industry nowadays. Actual, literal titans.
Now, they didn't get everybody, which is what we're here for today. We're comparing the two dubs. Starting out with, unfortunately, a change is Shaman King's main man, Yo Asakura, voiced by Sebastian Arcelus in the 4Kids version, did not reprise his role. He's a big Broadway guy now. I'm sure he's busy enough and he doesn't need this.
I'm Yo. Wanna hang out with us? Look, say hi. Don't be afraid. We're not alone, Morty. Amidamaru! Spirit form! I am a shaman, a link to the world beyond.
Yeah, he doesn't need the fucking ham sandwich and 20-ounce big gulp that they gave for the performances.
Exactly.
Good voice. Raphael, 1987 in Turtles Forever.
A mind like a steel trap, this one. Know what I'm saying?
That mutagen turned me into the last thing I touched. Mutant turtle filth!
It's not true. We shower regularly. Some people just can't handle change.
Why do you keep doing that? Who are you talking to? There's no one there!
Rex Owen from Dinosaur King.
Dino Slash! You can do it, Carnotaurus! Hey guys, wanna meet Ace? It's a perfect name for him, because it means number 1, and he's my first dinosaur!
And Rex Raptor from Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters.
Walk much? Or is this your first time?
Huh? Rex?
Huh? Riegel? The bug duelist? What are you doing here? The Battle City tournament's over, you little pinworm! Ever hear us stepping aside?
Yeah, what's your problem?
The problem shall be yours when I strip you two fools of your souls.
Does the Grim Reaper know you raided his wardrobe?
We're comparing him to the 21 version, Abby Trott.
The sky's so clear you can see the stars perfectly. The view's a lot better from up on this hill, though. Why don't you come stargaze with us? There's no need to be scared, you know. Everybody you see here is a friend of mine. They may be bums you couldn't get into heaven, but that doesn't change how I feel about them. I told you, those that tie this world and the next, that's what a shaman is. Spirit, integrate!
Abby Trott, the English voice of Nezuko Kamato from Demon Slayer.
I had to put Rokta down for a nap now. Otherwise, he would throw a fit. Ever since Dad passed, he's been glued to your side. Humans are to be protected and saved. Never hurt them. I will never hurt them. Blood demon art. Exploding blood!
Annette from Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Everybody's been asking about you. You're really popular with the students. Oh, really? Huh. Actually, I've been trying to find you too. But if you're not interested in dancing, that's okay. We are supposed to be at a ball, though. If you're not gonna dance tonight, when and where will you get another chance?
And Inui from Agretsuko.
Yes, hello? Emergency services? I need an ambulance sent over right away. Yes. Otemachi. They're coming. Breathe.
Thank you.
I can tell myself it doesn't matter that it's her. And that you would have done the same for any coworker. But she's not just a coworker to you, is she?
I think Sebastian just nails the attitude of Yo. Just a laid-back dude who thinks that everything will work out.
Wait a minute, you're telling me that a guy, a man, can voice a young boy and sound like a young boy? You mean they don't always have to be voiced by a female voice actress? This is a perfect example of, there are many men out there who have youngish voices. Why don't we use them?
Yeah, and that's not to say that a male voice is always the best option for a male character. I mean, if you look at Naruto, Luffy, or Bart Simpson, then that definitely does change that. I mean, Luffy was originally voiced by a guy really early on, and he sounded like shit.
Yeah. I'm not saying that women can't voice young men. I'm saying there are plenty of male voice actors that is basically an untouched market, but they will never get the recognition because it's better to default to a female for some reason.
And Abby Trott is just so distractingly sounding like a girl.
Like, doesn't even bother being androgynous.
Nah.
Also, with Sebastian playing off the kinda cool, kinda smart aleck, young kid, with some spunk, some sass, and some sarcasm, unfortunately, in a show about spirits and death, Abby sounds like she has no literal soul. She just sounds like this. Just soulless. There's no emotion. I just smile at everything. It's beautiful. What the fuck? What? No kid is this calm.
Yeah.
Where's the sass? Where's the pizzazz? Even in the manga, Yo was a fucking sarcastic smartass. Sometimes. Most of the time, he was just a cool dude. Yo in 21 doesn't sound like cool dude. He sounds like a fucking... Okay, kid, shut up. No one cares.
The only minor thing that I feel like is wrong with Sebastian, and this isn't even his fault, this is just 4Kids' dumbass writing sometimes, is that they change his motivation from, instead of Yo wanting an easy life, they changed to him wanting to be a rock star. The exact opposite thing of what he wanted.
Surf rock, dude. Pulp Fiction music.
But to keep things a little bit more balanced, Amidamaru's actually got some good competition between the two of them.
Mm-hmm. For the original, we have Sean Schemmel. Everyone knows Sean Schemmel. It's Goku.
Believe it. This fight's not over yet, Jiren.
Tell me how. How do you stand up no matter how many times you fall? Answer me, Goku!
Because Vegeta and 17 and all the others gave everything they had so I could keep going. If I do quit, I betray that trust, and I refuse to let all of them down!
You want me as your guardian ghost?
Well, yeah. Last night when we fought together and beat the Dead Enders, I felt like we had a connection. Know what I mean?
When we fought last night, we had a common goal, but that is no longer the case. I have no time for spirit teams and shaman games. I'm sorry, I cannot leave this place, not even for an hour.
It's Goku. In the 2021, he'd be replaced by Kaiji Tang, the newest voice of Guts from Berserk.
I don't need a god who's only good for senseless adornment. A confession would be a waste of time for both of us. I don't plan on repenting. Even if I wanted to, I seriously doubt you would learn anything valuable. But if it makes you feel better, pray for me in some moldy temple.
Animal!
Sanemi Shinazugawa from Demon Slayer.
Is that the moron who brought a demon along with him? What the hell do you think you're trying to pull here exactly? Run that by me again, kid? She can fight as a demon slayer to protect humans, was that it? You know what we call that? Completely impossible, you idiot!
And Sumugu Kinagase from Kill la Kill.
There are two things you need to know. One, there once was a woman. She believed people and clothes weren't enemies. But she was a fool. And in the end, she was betrayed by clothing. Two, the road you're heading down leads to the same fate.
I can barely tell the difference.
They're damn similar. One, Sean Schemmel has a more natural, deep voice, while Kaiji has a real grit that would come from an edgier character like Amidamaru. You can't really compare the two because they have the same spirit, no pun intended.
Yeah, Schemmel's a little bit funnier when he needs to, but at the same time, Kaiji Tang is a little bit more emotional, which helps.
Helps a lot. Great replacement.
Yeah, I say so.
Speaking of not a replacement,
we got a bit of voice acting that makes Tara Sand sound like a child. She reprised her role as Anna, and in the original, I think she's great. She's got a good balance to her voice, just kind of being a teenager, but also still being very bossy, kind of bitchy.
Go get me a drink, Shorty. Huh? I'm very thirsty, so hurry it up. You are late, and you shouldn't leave your spirit floating around. An unscrupulous shaman might take him.
She captured me.
It is not very nice to keep a lady waiting, especially a thirsty one.
Sorry.
I accept your apology, sweetie pie. Now let's move on to far more important matters.
Important matters. Okay, I'm listening.
Honestly, if I didn't know any better, I would think that she's voiced by Melissa Fon, who voiced Gaz in Invader Zim.
Let it be known that from this day until the end of the day, vengeance will be mine. Dib, you will not know the meaning of peace, for I shall rain misery down upon your pizza-stealing heart!
But bafflingly, she's very noticeably more high-pitched in the remake.
Hey, you, get me a soda.
Hold on, why are you asking me?
Shut your mouth, you're too nosy. What exactly are you to Yo?
What do you mean, what am I to him? I'm his friend.
That's so. Well, if that's the case, then you had better stay on my good side.
Huh?
Got that? Seeing as I'm the future wife of the Shaman King, you will obey me.
She sounds like everything that she says is robotic, or that her lines are strung together in between takes, like she has a voracious smoker's cough, and they had to string together her sentences between hacking up a lung. There's weird pitches but no valleys between the way she speaks. It's almost mechanical.
Yeah, I should also note that the voice director for the remake is named Hermes Baroli, who, this is his first time directing anything. So I put it into that, just a lack of experience for the director. Because, you know, a voice actor does need a lot of faith in their director in order to, you know, put out a good performance. And this just isn't. It just boggles my mind. But it doesn't boggle me nearly as much as fucking Ren in the 4Kids version.
Voice, Andrew Rannells.
So, Ren Tao, as you can tell by the name, in pretty much every little goddamn thing about him, he's Chinese. So, naturally, they give him a British accent.
Before I finish you off, good chap, let me tell you where you went wrong. To achieve 100% power, a shaman must have total control of his spirit and not be his buddy or his chum. If the spirit is not in complete submission to the shaman, there is conflict and indecision. In order to be a true shaman warrior, you must dominate the spirit and crush his independence.
Voice of William Clockwell from Invincible.
You're invincible. You are...
Hey, please! You can't tell anyone.
I can't believe this. It all makes sense now. Holy shit. Holy shit.
William!
Are you okay? No, I'm definitely not okay. I mean, I am okay. I'm just... wow.
Who was that?
That was my Invincible.
And Belowski from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. The kid who gets high.
Call me Belowski. You ever notice how clouds look like duel monsters if you look really close?
You gotta be kidding me.
Anyhow, let's duel.
Again with the dueling? He must think I'm easy pickings because I'm in red.
Red, blue, yellow, who cares? Those are just symbols the man uses to try to propagate social division. See, it's all a conspiracy of the political industrial complex to permeate the so-called free market.
Sure, whatevs. Let's just throw down.
Far out.
And the new one, voiced by Laura Stahl.
Please silence your barking, you disgusting dogs. That piece of junk was in my way, so it needs to be removed.
Are you kidding me? You don't just kick somebody's car. Are you insane or something?
Let's teach this brat some manners.
These vehicles do nothing but spew out pollutants into the atmosphere, causing the Earth to die and eclipsing the stars. You're nothing but repugnant vermin whose only purpose is to destroy this land. Roaches that deserve to die.
Who would voice Ramlethal, Valentine, and Guilty Gear?
If you're done talking, let's begin. I didn't win anything. I'm just strong.
B from Pokemon, Twilight Wings, and Pokemon, basically Pokemon the series.
This is my stop! Let's go! I'm sorry. I'm such a terrible trainer. At this rate, I won't beat Leon, or anyone else for that matter. Oh, thank you.
Oh, Wangari from Little Witch.
This is Luna Nova News Network with a special report. The stage is set, and all of the riders have gathered for an epic showdown. What a way to start the race! Their brooms aren't taking off. Currently, first place belongs to Lotte Jansen, and trailing closely behind Little Miss Four Eyes is Constance Amelie von Braunschweig Albixberger. Wow, that's a mouthful. Huh? Is that even a broom?
What the fuck happened here? What happened? You've tried to explain it to me before, but I just don't buy it. Like, you were saying something about how, like, there are connections between Chinese and British cultures in some ways that he used to justify his British accent in the 4Kids version.
It's because in the history of China, very early just like with India, China too, the English Empire the British Empire had established trade routes with China and have a long history of not only wars, but also trade agreements. I mean, the Opium Wars between the English and the Chinese, but also, as seen in one of the Drunken Fist movies with Jackie Chan, the English museums were paying Chinese politicians to ship them artifacts from ancient China so they could display in their museum in exchange for money, goods, and services, which the Chinese people would normally hate, so they did very, very discreet ways of sneaking things out of the country. Shanghai and Singapore and Hong Kong are three notable areas where there's a lot of Western, English, and American influences. So, if a Chinese person was to learn perfect English, it wouldn't sound American, it'd sound English. That's your history fact for the year.
It just... That feels like such a stretch to me, that 4Kids was doing this avant-garde kind of idea about, oh, he's actually speaks British because of this whole connection or something. It just feels like a stretch. Because it's like, look, I grew up and I knew the Scottish family, and the parents spoke in thick Scottish accents. The kids who lived here had American accent. So it's not like even having a connection to British would mean that a Chinese boy would be speaking British all the time.
Well, you expect him to start fucking saying shit like, "Langwaye."
It'd be better. It would make sense. And look, okay, I've heard Marvin the Martian's voice. I've heard a Christopher Walken impression during this dub. But at the same time, you have an Indian character who actually does talk like a Native American. So this is just so weird. And the thing about it, really, to me, is that Lyserg, this boy from London, has a normal accent in the 4Kids version.
I need a real challenge, and you're not it. I'm looking for strong shaman. Shaman who are powerful enough to help me take my long overdue revenge.
And you guys who came back, you might be wondering, why am I okay with Sanji's accent when I'm not okay here? That's because One Piece exists in a fantasy world. You know, like, when 4Kids was voicing Sanji, I can make the crazy-ass distinction of maybe, just maybe, people from the North Blue talk like they're from Boston. I doubt it's true, but I can at least expend my disbelief to that level because it is a fantasy world. Shaman King is supposed to take place on Earth.
Our world.
That being said, at least Andrew sounds like he's having fun, unlike Laura Stahl.
Yeah. Laura Stahl sounds like she's trying to do a fucking Motoko Kusanagi imitation with how serious she sounds, but not capturing the aspect of Mary Elizabeth McGlynn's portrayal of a serious cyborg woman who's trying to detach herself from humanly values to a kid who wants to become a Shaman King.
Right. And I don't really blame 4Kids for this because everyone was fucking doing this around the early 2000s, but they got his name confused. They thought his name was Len instead of Ren Tao, so they call him Lenny all the time, which, again, I don't mind that because everyone was doing that, because they did it again with Ryu by calling him Rio, who in 4Kids was voiced by Schemmel again.
Let me tell you, chump, something. Every gang needs some place to call their own. The Dead Enders have been driven from everywhere in town, and we will run no more. Monument Hill will be our sacred hang! Magnet. Yeah? Go find this mellow dude and make sure he knows what will happen to him if he sets foot on our sacred hang again.
And the reason why he has that is because instead of Ryu, they call him Rio. You know.
Like Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
At least there's logic there, but the logic is fucking wrong.
I would have been more impressed if they would have gave him an Elvis impersonation.
Like DC Douglas?
Yeah.
Are you trying to tell me that some snot-nosed kid has been trespassing in my happy place? Looks like I've got no choice. I gotta find this punk and teach him there are consequences to messing with Wooden Sword Ryu.
Oh, it's you? When did you get here, man?
When? Just right now.
Well, DC Douglas does less of an Elvis impersonation and just a proto-stereotypical cool guy. Oh, wait, DC Douglas. Kamoshida from Persona 5.
You're going on and on about things you have no proof of. Basically, you're simply making these claims because you can't be a regular on the team, right?
That's not what this is about!
Even if it is exactly as you imagine it to be, hypothetically speaking. What can you do? We just received a call from the hospital. Suzui's in a coma, and her chances of recovery are slim. How would someone like that make a statement?
Yoshikage Kira from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Diamond is Crash, Unbreakable.
In order to make a living, I work for Kameo department stores. After a long day's work, I return home no later than 8 p.m. I don't like smoking, but do enjoy the occasional drink. I'm always in bed by 11 p.m., and I make it a point to get no less than 8 hours of sleep each night. Before bed, I drink a warm glass of milk. It's always coupled with 20 minutes of stretching to decompress from the long workday. Sweet dreams are the usual result of this.
And those are his pretty much most recent things.
We were just talking about this, and I think we both have the same general feeling, is that Schemmel is worse just for the sake of just an over-the-top Spanish accent for a Japanese character. Whereas DC Douglas isn't good because, while it might be more accurate, I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. I don't think that he goes over the top with it, because Ryu's a funny character. DC Douglas doesn't play him funny.
On both ends of the extremes, both do not do a good job. Schemmel has too much personality, not a good voice. DC Douglas, great voice, not enough personality. Two extremes of the same coin.
Moving on, got Faust VIII, and this one's a little bit more complicated, because we got two very good performances here. First of all, Sam Riegel in the 4Kids version.
My dear samurai, I'm hiding nothing. It's only natural that I smell like a morgue. I try not to be more than an arm's length from my guardian spirit. This is Eliza. And I am a boneyard sorcerer. Why, how dare you! Huh? I will not allow anyone to speak about my beloved Eliza like that! You are so wrong! She is real! Destroy him now!
I don't know. I mean, it's good, but it's Sam Riegel's voice that he always does.
It's a Steve Bloom scenario, where the voice is very noticeable, but it's generally a good voice. By the way, for those who don't know, Sam Riegel, voice of Teddy from Persona 4 and Persona Q.
As you can see, I'm a very busy bear. My snout is working most bearifically today. I'm very much a bear.
Or Donatello from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
This tin toy can chomp his way through steel and concrete like Michelangelo through a pizza. A bunch of these Mouser robots saw fit to trash our old lair and nearly turned our sensei into Robo-Chow. I look at these incredible machines, and the techno geek in me can't help thinking, awesome. But the ninja in me can't help thinking, payback.
Watch our TMNT videos, by the way. Good watches.
So there's a bit of a misconception with Faust, where halfway through the series, Sam Riegel did not come back to voice him, and people said it might have been Mark Thompson, but I don't think that's true, because I messaged Mark Thompson directly on Twitter to ask, hey, did you ever voice Faust? And his response was, who the hell was Faust?
Even on BTVA, Mark Thompson's not even put on the list.
Yeah, that credit, I believe so, goes to Matt Caplan, who originally, honestly, he had no fucking idea what he was doing.
I don't think that's it, Morty.
Huh?
I'm sorry to say, Maya is more than tired. She's seriously ill.
Ah!
I'm afraid she has the same illness that Eliza had when she was young.
Then she shouldn't be fighting, right?
That's right, Morty. If she continues to fight, she will be risking her life.
Oh.
You probably think I should intervene, but I won't.
Why not?
Well, I guess just because there's no point.
No idea at all.
Nah. I mean, Faust does enter the series being very, very jovial until you realize just how fucking psychotic he is. Until halfway through the series, he ends up losing his legs and he gets a lot
more grounded. No pun intended.
Ironically.
This was the person I was actually going to bring up for in the 4Kids. Now, Faust is a necromancer. His means of conjuration is using zombies and skeletons as a means of channeling his spirit. In the 4Kids dub, they called it boneyard sorcery, which is not wrong, but is a really pedantic way of saying necromancy.
What's the point?
And again,
what is...
Necro is not a nice word.
This is what I'm talking
because
about.
It's connected to because it can be connected to necrophilia.
Again, though, you're talking about dead people, and, Shaman King is far from a fucking R. It's like every other teen Shonen Jump thing. Just go all the way with it. Actually, they did. 4Kids, ironically enough, collaborated with Funimation in order to release Shaman King uncensored on DVD sales, which went defunct because it wasn't being sold. I found one at an FYE, just out of the blue, just on the front shelf of their DVDs, and I got it for under $1.
Based?
Right?
You have a piece of history. A rare collector's item.
I mean, I wouldn't say go that far. Anyway, so Matt Caplan did get more experience with voicing Faust. This is such a bitch to figure out, too, because 4Kids doesn't credit based on episode, they credit based on season. So, if there is a voice actor change, then we have no fucking idea. As far as I know, Matt Caplan did reprise his role for the Shaman King Power of Spirits game.
This beautiful creature is my guardian ghost, and she's ready to administer the medicine. Rise, Eliza!
And then reprised his role for the remake, and I really like it.
I'm honestly relieved. You know, for a minute there, I was afraid you'd be scary. I used to be a doctor, so I've had lots of run-ins with dead bodies.
Really?
Yes. I come from a long line of medical experts that cured hundreds of diseases, so naturally I studied medicine. Are you calling my beloved Eliza a mere doll? You fool! How dare you insult her with such a hideous word! She's exquisite, a vision of pure beauty, and you call her a doll? And then you accuse me of just playing with her! You've absolutely crossed the line, you Asakura! I dare you to say that about her again! Say it! Say it! Say it!
Matt Caplan. Only other voice is Takeshi Noda from the Gokusen.
Kuma, you there? Young Kumi grabbed your mom by the throat, and that tripped-out twist just took off with her. What the hell?
Evidently, another Broadway guy like Sebastian. It's good. It sounds coherent. It's creepy. It's the macabre kind of romance that you'd want out of Faust.
Both are really good. It's another Amidamaru. Both are really, really good. I still prefer Sam Riegel, but Matt Kaplan's a pretty good replacement.
Yeah, the thing
it keeps the same energy. It's just Matt's a little more toned down as compared to Sam Riegel's eccentricities.
I think my best analogy I can make for this is Sam Riegel is a piano and Matt Kaplan's an organ. And again, I love Sam Riegel. He's probably my favorite Donatello, but I will die on this hill. I would rather a subpar voice that is unique as opposed to a great performance that sounds the same. I live for that variety, and Matt Kaplan delivers it.
So your opinion on Steve Bloom, then?
Right, I'd rather hear someone who can actually change up their voice. Steve Bloom can do that a bit, but not a lot. And I love Steve Bloom. I think he has a great voice. But, you know, as someone like me who loves to archive this shit, I'm always looking for new voices.
I'm looking for new voices, too. I have my preferences, but I more of hold them to the standard rather than saying, well, they're not this, so I don't like it. It's more of a, how would this compare to this? Compares pretty well.
I'm not saying that Sam Riegel's bad at all. I think he's great. He always does great.
Sam Riegel's my standard. Matt Kaplan meets standard. Great replacement.
Okay.
When I hold something to a standard, I don't mean it as an oppression meter. I mean it as a, okay, this is where my standard is. If it could meet or surpass it, I like it. If it's a little bit under, I can respect it. If it's not even close, I don't like it.
Like, you can really tell that Kaplan does have that
naturalness to it.
Yeah, like, I think the Broadway-ness really does help, just being able to emote. It is very much Phantom-esque.
Because he's also very written like a Broadway tragic character.
Exactly.
I mean, he's for a little history of the character, Faust VIII is the descendant of Faust I, who was historically one of the greatest alchemists in the world. He created many medicines, and he healed plenty of diseases. And in the history of the world, his descendants would do the same, but the one thing that they could not do is stop death. They could not prevent death. And in this one, they actually bring in the Dr. Faustus book, or Dr. Faust, which was, I forgot who wrote Dr. Faust. But basically, it's about this man who is so smart he gets bored with traditional sciences and indulges in the occult, and then eventually he makes a pact with the devil called Faust. Faust was the demon, who made the Faustian bargain of, hey, I'll make a deal with you, I'll give you a whole bunch of cool powers, but when you die, you go with me to hell. But Faust was also based on a realistic person called Faust. And Faust VIII would his medium for channeling his spirit energy would be the cadaver of his beloved, because he couldn't save her from an illness, and he uses that motivation and insanity to fuel his resolve in doing what he wants to do. Of course, necromancy is a forbidden magic, because you're not supposed to mess with the naturalness of life and death like that. So he gets his license taken away, and then he mellows down. Great character. Probably my favorite.
Yeah, I love Faust. But to sum it up, gotta end somewhere, so let's talk about the final plot. Hal, aka Zeke, in the 4Kids version. There's no context behind this. It's not like, my name's Hal, but call me Zeke. They just call him Zeke, which is why the naming conventions make no fucking sense in the 4Kids version. Sebastian Arcelus in the 4Kids version.
So, the Flying Zen Brothers failed to destroy Yo.
Sending a pair of twins to eliminate him was almost too poetic.
You'll get him, Zeke.
Yes, I will. And when I'm done with Yo Asakura, he'll wish he'd never been born in my wake.
And in the Netflix dub, Erica Mendez.
What a bunch of amateurs. Are you really bothered by something so inconsequential?
Huh? Who in the hell are you?
This is a private chat between friends, so butt out. You looking for trouble?
What are you saying? I should be the one asking that question. Because it sounds like that's what you're trying to do. It's not nice to pick fights like that, Horo.
Ah! What the hell is that thing? It's huge!
That's spirit of fire. And unlike me, it has a quick temper. So I suggest you be careful with how you speak to me. My name is Hao, and I am the future king.
The new voice of Sailor Uranus in Sailor Moon Eternal.
Let's do this, Michiru.
Here we go, Haruka.
Uranus cannon power! Break up! My hands got dirty long ago. There's no turning back now. I'll do whatever needs to be done to get that talisman.
English voice of Megumin.
I am an arch-wizard who wields explosion, the most powerful, most feared, most deadly spell in all the land!
Are you pulling my leg or something?
No, of course not! My deep crimson, I beseech thee! The time of awakening hath come! From the boundaries of righteousness, come, O justice, as an intangible distortion! Dance, dance, dance! Transform my torrent of power into a destructive force, one without equal! Explosion!
So how long did you last hearing that voice? Like 5 or 10 seconds?
Yeah, no, her portrayal of Hal is absolutely abysmal.
I love Erica Mendez. She's done some great...
Yeah, Erica Mendez is a great voice actress, but this wasn't it. This was not it.
I think for... Okay, first of all, let's talk about Sebastian. I think does great because it's like you can really go two paths with twins, right? You can either have the same person voicing them or having two characters who sound kind of alike but kind of different to give a little bit of differentiation. Kind of like Hikaru and Kaoru from Ouran Host Club. 4Kids went with the twin aspect and Netflix went with the different VA aspect. Sebastian's good because he is able to sound like a villain, but able to still sound distinct from Yo.
Hey, Zeke! What an unexpected visit. To what do I owe the pleasure? Listen, Zeke. I want you to take it easy on Team Très Magnifique. I mean, they're basically hopeless. Oh, they're weak? Well, yeah. They don't stand a chance against me? None. And since they're no threat to you, I wanted to ask you to go easy on them and not destroy them. I believe there are only two kinds of shaman, useful and useless. The latter will have no place in my kingdom. But I'm glad to know where these shaman fall. Thanks for the tip. That's cold. I'll make sure they're eliminated. I won't let you! There is nothing you can do about it.
You can definitely differentiate between the two.
And I think that Erica Mendez does voice how well when you compare her to Abby Trott, who's voicing Yo. But the problem is, Abby Trott is not a good choice for Yo from the start.
So it's a bad comparison, not because of Erica, but it's a bad comparison because of Abby.
I'd say so. Like, if you put Erica in a vacuum, I think she sounds perfectly fine.
But when you have to pair her with Abby, it's like having some really nice chocolate, and then the center is just toothpaste. I was gonna say a fucking chocolate-covered ghost pepper, but no. When you expect a peppermint patty, and you get that nice mix of chocolate and mint, and then you bite into it, this is basically just toothpaste. What did you feed me? Why would you do this?
And that'll do it.
I would like to repeat my point for my final thoughts. Just because it's more common to use woman voice actresses to voice young men, that shouldn't be the stigma. Give men a chance to voice young men. For the Shaman King Netflix version is the perfect example of this. They got women to voice young men because that's pretty standard for the English voice acting community. And it sounds horrible. As compared to the original 4Kids, which used actual men to voice young boys, and it worked swimmingly. Not to say that women can't voice men. I mean, Luffy and Naruto, great, amazing. I mean, both grate my ears, but that's just character.
They sound like they're supposed to.
Yeah, they sound like they're supposed to. But you take Yo, and you take Sebastian, and there's an obvious winner, of which sounds like a young man.
The people who produced the Netflix version must have known. Like I said, most of the 4Kids voice actors reprise their role. 4Kids is not being fucking ignored like Funimation did when they were adapting One Piece. They had to have known that this could have worked. Who knows? Maybe they tried their best. Maybe they tried to find a guy who matched. Or maybe in their minds, the women who voiced these characters did work fine for them. It's their opinion. It's an artistic medium, just like the animation itself. But to us, as lowly fans of this franchise that we love, it's a disappointment. Honestly, I think the whole thing's a disappointment. The anime is a disappointment, and for the most part, the voice acting is too. If you like it, great.
I just want to know how in the fuck did they take a more advanced, more streamlined animation style and make the animation look worse than the original? It's Berserk all over again!
I swear, I just swear, man. I'm just upset, because this is Shaman King. This is the fucking time of anime remakes. You know, we got Brotherhood. Fucking amazing. We got the Fruits Basket remake. Great. I was hoping that this would have been it. But it's not. It is so confused and just... Look, say what you want about the original anime. 4Kids or otherwise. With its weird misdirections. It's choices that differentiate from the manga and its abrupt ending. Before we got to that ending, it's fun. It's fun to watch. The remake, in my opinion, is just a slog to go through, with an over-obsessed need to finish the anime. No holds barred, fuck everything else, fuck creativity. And if you criticize me in the comments saying, well, it's not faithful to the manga is an artistic piece of media just as much as the anime adaptation is. The anime is a team of creative people who believe that these choices do help with making the anime good. Not all anime just has to be just the manga translated with color and animation and voice acting. There are things I like about the original anime, like Horo coming in way before his fight with Yo. Like, in the manga, Horo is introduced during the fight, but the anime, having him introduced earlier, makes the fight more impactful because it's two friends fighting each other.
Yeah. I mean, the original 4Kids lets the characters actually grow to like each other.
Here, it's a greatest hits edition. It's literally like Pokemon Origins, but shitty.
So I think we've basically fumed ourselves out of the whole situation.
I think so. We're recording this during the time that there are only 12 or 13 episodes of the dub. So just keep that in mind if you guys are going to comment. If it gets good, maybe it will. I don't fucking know. I doubt it. It doesn't work that way usually.
I don't care either.
Right. But if you guys want us, when the dub gets expanded, to talk about any other characters, then let us know in the comments below. And let us know, who are your favorite portrayals of these characters that we talked about? Maybe you had a different opinion from us.
We would love to hear your opinion.
We'd love to, and we don't care if you have a different opinion from us. That's great. Make a conversation. Make a dialogue. There doesn't have to be one perfect definitive version of Shaman King. Like I said, I think the best version of Shaman King is the manga.
Just be respectful of people's opinions in the comments.
Right. I've been Justin.
I've been Will.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Peace out.